Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here we are back again with Python, and this time we are trying to learn how to use a while loop or how to use an infinite while loop in Python and how to uh, learn the syntax of Python, how we use it. Okay, so to start off with, I have my Sublime text editor up and I have a file which is named as n.py. Okay, so in that, suppose let's take an example to demonstrate the while loop. So let's say I have a variable which is I, so I'll just give I is equal to, let's say, 1. Okay, I give another variable that is n, and let's say it has a value as 3. Okay, and I write while, so there's the start of the while loop. So while I is less than equal to n, I would like to print, let's say, yes. Okay, and then I is equal to I plus 1. Now if you see over here how I'm actually defining a while loop inside Python is, so there's no need to put any semicolons in Python. That's the best part of Python, because most of the time when you work with Java, C++, you often forget putting a semicolon at the end of a line of a code. Okay, and it turns up giving an error in the compilation part. But here in Python you don't have to use any semicolon, you can directly write it. Okay, like how I have declared a variable, so I don't have to use any data type over here. So I is equal to 1, so Python itself understood that yes, it's an integer data type. Okay, n equal to 3 that I have given, and this is the way how you run a while loop. So while I is less than equal to n, that means if I start with this particular line of code, so what is happening, I have two variables, so I and n. Okay, so here first of all I value is 1 and n value is 3. If you see, okay, n value is 3. Okay, now when it comes to this particular loop, so I is less than equal to n, yes, it is satisfying. Okay, and then it went inside the while loop and it prints the first line, that is print yes. That means in my output, my first output is yes. Okay, then it increments the I value to 1, that is I is equal to I plus 1. Okay, so now the I value is 2. So again it will check this particular while loop, does it satisfies I is less than equal to n, yes, n value is 3, I is 2, yes, it satisfies. So again yes will be printed. So again in my output another yes will be printed. Again I is equal to I plus 1 will be done. Now this is 3. So now check the while loop, I less than equal to, that means yes, still it is satisfying the condition. Then once again yes will be printed, and then the I value will become 4. Now when it goes to the while loop, it checks the condition. Now it doesn't satisfy because I value is greater than n. That means now the while loop will get terminated, and in the output we will get yes, yes, yes 3 times. Okay, so that is how a while loop works inside Python. Now, if you see the Python code carefully, usually what we do, so we usually write like, let's say I take an example of Java. So in Java, what we do, we write while, and then inside the brackets, we write the condition. Okay, and then we use brackets, and inside the brackets, we write our whatever we want to print it. That's how we write, but it's not the way in Python. In Python it's quite easier to use a for loop or a while loop or if condition. Okay, you just have to write, you don't have to check off if you have close the brackets or not. That is the opening and closing brackets for a while loop. Okay, so Python automatically takes it. Okay, so now if we try to run this from our command line, so let me open the command prompt. So this is the command prompt. Now go back to your file where it's actually located. Okay, so this is where it's located, and you just type Python and the file name. So my file name is n.py. I press enter. Now if you see, the output is yes, yes, yes 3 times. That's what we wanted. Okay, so in our dry run we saw the output was supposed to be yes, yes, yes 3 times, and the while loop gets terminated. So yes, this is the output. Okay, now let me minimize this. Okay, now next is, suppose I want an infinite loop. Okay, What do you mean by an infinite while loop? That means at that point of time there is no incrementation going on. Okay, so what will happen over here if I show you this particular code in terms of a physical dry run, like what will happen in the back end? So we have I1 ns3, so it checks the condition, yes it is satisfying. Okay, so in the output what will happen? Yes will be printed. Okay, but there is no incrementation over here. I is equal to I plus 1 is not there. So what will happen? It will keep on printing yes for unlimited, infinite time. So that is called as an infinite while loop. Okay, so if you try to run this particular code itself, so carefully see, I have removed the incrementation part from here. The code remains same, but there is no I equal to I plus 1. Okay, now let's see the output again. So I've saved it off. So again, I'll just write Python and then n.py. Now if you see, yes, 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 it keeps on printing it. That means it's an infinite while loop which is running. Okay, so that's called as an infinite while loop. Okay, so two things. First of all, how you're declaring it, and then how you are learning the infinite while loop. Now next is, like, suppose we want to put an if and else condition inside a while loop. How does that work? Okay, so in the same thing, suppose I write while and then I write let's say print. Okay, I type hi and then I write I is equal to I plus 1, and then here I write else print, let's say y. Okay, this is what I wrote. Fine, so what's happening over here? It is checking when the condition is I is, so let's do a dry run. Okay, so in coding it's called as a dry run. That means you're checking actually before going on to the output or in the terminal mode to check the output. So we have two variable, that is 1 and 3, I and n, which has the value as 1 and 3. Okay, next it is coming on to the while loop. So I is less than equal to n, yes it is. So print high, that means once the high will be printed and then the I value will be incremented to 2. Okay, next it checks the condition, is it less than equal to n? Yes it is less than equal to n. Then again high will be printed. Okay, and I value will again get incremented, this particular line. Okay, this line. So now it checks I is less than equal to n. Yes, again the condition satisfied because I is also 3, n is also 3. So again high will be printed. Okay, now what happens? Again I equal to I plus 1. So now I value is 4. Now what happens? This condition terminates, right? This condition terminates. So what will happen? It won't execute this part, that is the if part. It will directly print b y e, that is y. So 3 times high and then else part, that is by, directly will be printed. Okay, so that's how I am not using an if. Okay, I'm not writing if print. Okay, you can write, you cannot write. Okay, that's not necessary to write over here in Python, but yes, you're writing the else part because you're telling Python that I am actually using an if and else condition inside my while loop. Okay, so let's check if it actually gives the output what we have desired. So open this off again and then you write Python and then n.py. Okay, now this is the output which we got. Now if you see carefully, the output 3 times high and then 1 time by. That's what we did in the dry run, right? So this is the correct output which we wanted, okay, for this particular programming. Right guys, so this is how you can also use if and else condition inside your while loop. So once again, you don't have to actually write if. Okay, when you come inside the while loop, you don't have to actually use if over here. You just have to put your condition, like the print condition which you want to print inside your while loop. then the incrementation should be there. So this is basically the condition test. Okay, the condition should be ending with a colon in Python. Okay, so condition should end with a colon. And then inside the while loop, if you're using an if part, so the increment should be there. So usually in other programming like Java, C++, we write I++, but that will not work in Python. Instead of that, you have to write I is equal to I plus 1. If you are decrementing it, then you have to write I is equal to I minus 1. Okay, and then the else part will come up if you are using an if and else. So you can directly write else and then it should end with a colon, and then your print statement will come up. Okay, so this is how you can use while loop. Okay, the syntax of the while loop and how you can use the infinite while loop and an if and else condition also inside your while loop.